Joining us now, Congressman Chris Stewart. He's on House Intelligence. Sir, it's great to have you on, Congressman. What did you make of Senate Intelligence holding this rare public open hearing about the threat that China's playing? China's playing the long game to dominate the world economy. I think that's what the senators wanted to point out. What do you say?
Well, exactly right. And the American people need to understand this. They are playing the long game. They're playing it brilliantly. The good news, Elizabeth, is over the last few years, there really has been an awakening among the American public, among business leaders and among some political leaders, that China is not our friend. They're not just a place across the pond who makes really great iPhones and skateboards. They have certain goals and ambitions. They're very open about it. Their goal by the 2049, the 100th anniversary of China Communist Party claiming power, is to be the single dominant force in the world, not just a peer competitor, not just another superpower, the single dominant superpower in the world, including military, diplomatically, technologically, economically. They're working towards that, as you said, Elizabeth. And I just think the more the American people know that, the better that is for us.
Watch Senator Marco Rubio here. He agrees with you. He's saying China is doing basically the biggest illegal wealth transfer from the U.S. into China in the history of mankind, up to $600 billion a year of American technology and know-how going into China. China's stealing it. He said a lot more. Watch this.
The long arm of China is not some futuristic threat. It's already here. Today, the Chinese Communist Party has more control over what Americans can say, what we can hear, what we can read, what we can watch, than any foreign government has ever had in our history. And they have weaponized our openness. They have weaponized our decency, and they have weaponized a corporate lust for profits against us. And if we don't wake up and we don't address this now, the America our children are going to inherit very soon could very well be one where the sanctimonious preachings, as someone once said, the sanctimonious preachings of a genocidal communist tyranny will be the only thing that Americans will be allowed to hear or say about China.
Whoa, that's scary stuff. He's basically saying China's going to dominate the U.S. and what we think and say. I mean, talk to us about that and what he said about the corporate lust for profits working against U.S. interests.
Well, I'm so glad Marco's talking about this. And he mentioned, you know, the transfer of wealth, $600–800 billion a year. But his second point, I think, is the one that is actually a greater concern. And people say, well, there's no way China could control what we say and what we read and what we're told here in the United States. That can't happen. Well, here's the truth. It does happen. Here's an example of it. You had them with the greatest cover-up in the history of the world, potentially, and that is the source of the Wuhan virus, and yet they were able to manipulate and control our own media into absolutely dismissing that, saying you're a conspiracy nut if you even ask that question. Our own media, our own tech fell into that. Many of our political leaders fell into that, and they did that because of the influence in China in our public discourse. Now, look, you don't have to be an intelligence official to look at that and say, hey, it seems to me that we ought to at least consider the possibility that this virus came from the lab. Anyone with any common sense would at least ask that question, and yet China was able to pressure organizations like the New York Times, as we know, to not even ask the question, not even allow other people to ask the question. So when Marco says they're going to dominate and influence our own political discussion, there's no question they've already done that pretty successfully.
Yeah. You know, they're building ports and they're seizing giant sections of the economies in Africa. Ports throughout Asia, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, in the Middle East. They're trying to claim rights to the Arctic. They're trying to seize back Taiwan. To your report about Wuhan, CNN reporting this, that U.S. intelligence agencies are investigating the genetic data of the viruses from the Wuhan lab to confirm the origin of the pandemic, that it possibly leaked from the Wuhan lab. This is China's Achilles heel. They're using, by the way, supercomputers at the Energy Department to do this work. We've got 30 House Republicans saying, yeah, let's give cash awards, give a whistleblower reward to anybody with information about the Wuhan lab and the cover-up. Is that going to pass? Are Democrats saying, yeah, do this?
Well, I mean, you would think it would, right? But too many times in the House here, our Democratic colleagues have done things regarding China that I just sincerely shake my head and think, why in the world would you not allow us to do that? Why in the world would you put forward policies that appear to protect China? And this is just one example of it. And Elizabeth, to your other point about them creating the Belt Road Initiative, essentially recreating the Silk Road. And they're doing it through debt traps. Talk to Djibouti about that. Talk to Sri Lanka, as you mentioned. They're doing it through warrior diplomatic efforts, and they're doing it through media manipulation, not only here in the United States, as we've talked about, but aggressively in other nations, particularly, as you said, India and throughout Africa.
Guess what? The bubonic plague traveled along the Silk Road and took out, back then, Iran and Italy. Same thing. Congressman Chris Stewart, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.